See this right here? So I'm back at the charger this morning because I figured I want to charge. Oh, look at this lady. She got the red one. And I just really think, I wonder if GM, if this is what they had in mind when, they were putting together the electric charging infrastructure that they had. So basically I knew that this was going to happen. So I came nice and early because it's like 6 o'clock and I ain't got nothing else to do. So I said, yeah, let me go and charge my car. And now this charging station here at the Target is filled with Cadillac Lyrics. So I wanted to come over here and take a picture. It's like we got the whole thing. We got the whole thing locked up. Look at this. So it's all four of them. All four. We got black, white, silver. Ain't that cool? Now, if Dodge has those chargers, those Charger EVs, if Dodge has EV Go as its main charging credit that it offers, because they're gonna have to offer incentives for those things. And that incentive may be 1 year free charging, 2 year free charging. But if Dodge has to offer incentives for those damn things, then chances are they're gonna end up at EV Go as well. Now, EV Go, basically, even these machines are labeled GM, or GM Energy, I should say. So the thing about it is, are we going to suddenly now be flooded with a bunch of Dodge Chargers? Are we going to be flooded with those things? I hope to God not, but it just might end up happening. So, only time will tell. And I know a lot of people, yeah, I understand. I totally understand. A lot of people are like, oh, yeah, I would never want to have to waste my time at a charger and blah, blah, blah. But just for people who are new to my channel, because there are some people who are new, this charging infrastructure right here is brand new. They put this in this Target. This came out, they activated in May. And it's only like 5 miles from my house. And for me to come here, it's really not that much of a problem. See, this guy's leaving. And I see this guy, he got here first, and he was using the newest 350 watt charger. They call it Kylie because each one of these chargers has a name. And I would normally be charging on that one because I like to park my car as far outside as possible. But all of these cars have their charging ports on the driver's fender, right? And I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, I would never want to have to waste time coming to a charger. But the thing about it is I have 2 years of free charging. Now, when you say 2 years of free charging, that's $5,000 that I'm not paying worth of fuel, right? So some people are like, oh, well, yeah, I'd rather just be able to gas and go. But the bottom line is, it's like when they were offering incentives on these things, I jumped right on it. I had my car fully built, fully loaded. I got the $7,500 federal tax credit. I got the $5,000 GM rebate because they canceled my 2023 order and they forced me to buy a 2024 instead of a 2023. And on top of that, you get the 2 years of free charging. So basically, when you add, what is that, $5,000, you add another $7,500 to that. That's damn near, like close to $20,000 in savings, So I as far as I was concerned, I couldn't lose. And I love my car. My car is really comfortable. It's a good-looking car. And, right now I'm at home charging my battery from my Jeep because my Jeep's battery died. And I pulled it out of the car, which was really fucking hard, by the way. And right now I'm charging it on a battery charger. And hopefully that shit works. But the thing about it is these gas cars, these things suck when it comes to maintenance. But the bottom line is, no matter what car you buy, whether you buy gas or electric, I don't care what you buy. I'm just saying, you're still going to pay top dollar when it comes to maintenance, and you're still going to pay top dollar when it comes to insurance because they're charging the fuck out of you for insurance right now. Like, I had to go to Geico. I had to ask them, I'm like, yo, why the fuck did my insurance go up while I was on vacation in Bali? And Geico's like, oh, well, I don't really know. And they were like, well, you could try this driver's defensive driver discount. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about defense drive. First of all, I don't even understand what that shit means, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm an offensive driver. Like, I almost want to start a new course called offensive driving. But bottom line is, he was like, yeah, you got to try this defensive driver course. I was like, I don't want to fucking do that shit. And they said, oh, well, it's $15 and it renews every 3 years and you save like $300. And I was like, well, really, $300? Okay, maybe I'll try it. I'll give it a try. But, I mean, nobody wants to do that fucking stupid bullshit. That's a scam. It is what it is, man. I'm fucking tired of these people. But I think I got way off course because I was talking about the cars. But anyway, I like my car. And here in New York City, we do have some place to charge. A lot of people are switching up to electric cars. There's a lot of Teslas. There's a lot of, even the Mercedes, BMW iXs, all that stuff is actually selling pretty decently here. Because we're in New York. I mean, we don't have highways where it's just miles and miles of highway for the most part. We have charging places where you can charge a car. And most people who don't want to buy electric cars, they probably live in places where there's lots of highways and there's no place to charge the cars. I totally understand that. But here in New York, that's really not the issue. So over time, these things they're gonna do better. Some people are like, oh yeah, well if Trump wins, EV mandates are over. It's like, no, they're fucking not. Because the bottom line is, whether the car companies decide to make electric or gas, they've basically killed the V8 engine. Because Stellantis was the only company making a V8 engine worth a fuck, because those Mustang engines are boring. If you bought one of those, typically you had to get a manual. Those things suck. What else? GM, they got a twin turbo Corvette that, like, it's not a practical car. Like, I can fit my whole family in one of these. It's like, the thing about it is that shit is slowly dying. Everybody who's going, oh yeah, I would never want electric. I'd buy a Corvette. I need a car with a soul. Most of you motherfuckers can't afford any of this shit, and you can't afford the fucking insurance. So everybody's talking all this shit, and meanwhile, I'm looking at these YouTube channels. YouTube Olympics is over. I'm seeing people ain't got nothing. It's like they talking shit and they driving like a 20-year-old Toyota. It's like, oh yeah, my kid's got a soul. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You see, that's the problem. After I wake up and I have coffee, I'm quite belligerent. And I'm sorry, that's just what it is. I had that Starbucks, that ready-made iced coffee, and I put a little bit of flavor stuff in it, like blueberry. And I don't know, it just makes me belligerent. I don't know what it is. I'm actually a nicer person when I drink, like alcohol. Like, I'm actually quiet. But it is what it is. I don't know. Here we are. It is August 9th. This story is 2 days old. I pretty much already reported on it, so I'll just make another quick update. So Car and Driver made an article about the 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona EV, saying that it's going to start at just over $60K. Now, supposedly what happened was that leaked pricing, sent like sticker shock across this, I should say, the Mopar community. So apparently what Stellantis did was they rushed to say that the pricing would actually be lower than the sticker shock imposed that it would be. So it says the electric Charger Daytona will come in at $61,590 for the 496 horsepower RT, while the 670 horsepower Scat Pack will cost $75,185. So not to belabor the point, I continue to compare this car directly with the Cadillac Lyriq and perhaps even the Chevy Blazer EV. The Cadillac Lyriq pretty much starts at $60,000, give or take, for the tech models. And the tech models are the lowest end models. They don't have GM Super Cruise. They don't have ventilated front seats. They don't have heated rear seats. They don't have power opening moonroof. They don't have massage seats, and so forth and so on. There's a lot of features they don't have. I've also seen the inside of those cars, and they have like cheap material for the seats. They don't, because see, nowadays it's like a lot of these companies, they're trying to get away from leather, And if they do give you leather, they try to give you a suede insert. And I guess that's because the problem with leather is unless you perforate it, the ventilated seats can't get that airflow going. So, some of these car companies, they've done cooled and heated seats different ways. Sometimes they did ventilated seats when they had fans in the seat itself to blow cold air up, like to cool your ass. Some car companies, they use reverse induction. So they use induction to heat the seat, but they used reverse induction to cool the seat. And then there was some car companies where they would just, I guess it was the lazy way. They would just use the Freon or the gas expansion from the HVAC in order to help cool the seats. So there's different ways of doing it. But, my Jeep SRT, the Dodge Chargers that currently exist, the Dodge Challengers, the Chrysler 300, their ventilated seats pretty much have fans in the seat that blow air up through the cushions in the back. So if you get this car bare bones, obviously you get heated seats, but you don't get ventilated seats. Heated seats in the rear is also extra money. Like I broke down the spec sheet that they leaked, supposedly. And for me, heated and ventilated seats is like, I can't negotiate on that. I have to have them. When you have these new cars, and these cars have glass roofs, the sun is always penetrating that glass roof, even when they have like the strongest ultraviolet deflectors and they have the strongest tinting. It's just not enough. As far as I'm concerned, when I preheat or pre-cool that car, I expect the seats to be preheated or pre-cooled. That's the way I expect it to be. So when I buy one of these things, it has to be fully loaded. I don't care what trim it is. It has to be fully loaded. I personally don't foresee myself buying one of these cars. I'm going to try to withhold complete judgment until I actually get to drive one. And even then, the only one I would want is the fully loaded one, which is the Banshee, but they're saying that's going to be like over $100,000. And if that's the case, they'll probably have markups on it just like the Demon. So I just don't foresee myself going in this direction. I have no problem with the fact that the car is electric. I enjoy driving an electric car. There's a lot of benefits that an electric car has over a gas car. One is the fact that you're not paying $4.50 for premium unleaded gas. That's one. For every gallon of that gas, most of it was getting wasted by these V8 engines. For example, my Jeep SRT outside, when I came back from Bali and I came back from Singapore, I had to get the battery charger, and I had to do, I had to do like 3 or 4 deep cycle charges of the battery because nobody had been driving the car, and the car was just sitting there. Just to try to run that engine to help charge the battery, it's costing like $4 and $8, and then the costs slowly start to build because gas is so expensive. Meanwhile, with my electric Cadillac, I pay nothing for 2 years to drive the car, and after that, it's somewhere around $180 a month for electricity to charge at my house. So I have 2 years of free charging. Now, when the Dodge Charger EV comes out, I have to wonder, is Stellantis going to go with EVgo, or is Stellantis going to go with Electrify America? Hopefully they'll do the smart thing and they'll have the Tesla adapters ready so that you can use Tesla adapters, because the Tesla supercharger network, there's over 50,000 of those throughout America. So the reality is there's no network right now that even comes close to the Tesla network. So right now, the best electric vehicle that you can possibly buy in America actually happens to be a Tesla, because that supercharger network is its own gimmick, but it's so practical that it makes it very easy to drive a Tesla across country. Now, of course, you're going to get the naysayers. Oh, yeah, well, if I had a Durango Hellcat, I could drive across country and beat the Tesla Model X every time. And to that, I'd respond, well, first of all, you don't have $100,000 to get a Dodge Durango Hellcat, nor a Trackhawk, nor a Charger Hellcat, nor a Demon. So that's pretty much that's like a non-issue right there. But the bottom line is, most of these people that have these Teslas who do these road trips, you're mostly talking about these people who live in like Los Angeles or live in California and they're driving back and forth to like Nevada. So you're talking about these people who are trying to do that kind of road trip back and forth and, save as much time as possible. But for the most part, a lot of those people are wealthy. A lot of those people have money. They don't so much worry about having to stop for 30 or 40 minutes to charge their car to 85%. They just do it. Then here on the East Coast, you got these people who drive from, say, New York to Florida or Florida to New York. I'm not going to even front. Yeah, that's probably a better ride with a gas-powered car. The only downside is, it's a lot of wear and tear on that gas-powered car, for one. And, I have family members who, they have like Lincoln Navigators, they have Ford Expeditions. You've seen me drive them. I've made videos of them. And even right now, my uncle's Ford Expedition is in the shop because his air conditioner died. So, and I think it was either the compressor or whatever, but the same exact thing happened to my Jeep SRT, the air compressor, the HVAC air compressor died. So the thing about it is, these gas-powered cars have way more parts. They are more, in many cases, prone to fail. Most of what are those things? The transmissions are pretty good in these cars because, I'm not going to say like Nissan, because they have shitty CVT transmissions. And some of these new Hondas do too. But when it came to the Dodge cars, those ZF 8-speed transmissions, those things were damn near bulletproof. Like, you could rack up miles on those and not have any problems. Now, the engines, however, after like 100,000 miles, okay, you got to do like spark plugs, coil packs and stuff, but that's typical. But then when you start getting to the Hellcats, those supercharged engines, now you got to worry about the bearings and the supercharger. And that was a huge issue back in like 2016, 2017. And, they slowly started to repair those things and everything. But even nowadays, it's like some people have issues with those, those extra parts. It's a lot of extra parts for a car when you put, a supercharger on a freaking V8. But I guess that's neither here nor there. I think most of the people who buy these cars, it's like they're not really doing serious road trips. Most of them are just buying them to drive around town and to show them off. So the issue ultimately comes down to, what network will they use? I'm thinking it may be EVgo. If it is EVgo, that means that when I go to the Charger, I'm going to see these I should say Banshees. I should see these Charger Banshees pulling up next to me. Alongside Cadillac Lyrics, Nissan Arias, and what are those things? Those Toyota BZ4Xs. So we don't know a lot. See, and it's funny. It's August, and we still haven't even seen a review for any of these damn things. Nothing. You haven't seen anything. But what you do know is the price. And the price is not making people very happy. So they can talk about all the features and everything, but the problem is the initial price is high. So they're saying that these things are supposed to start over $60,000. So ultimately, this is what's happening. If you look at even a base Charger with a V6, you're somewhere around $40,000, right? And that's $40,000 right now is considerably higher, I should say, than what most people want to pay anyway. But you're not really getting much equipment at all in one of those cars. You're not. Then you look at the Scat Packs. They push those up to $50,000. Meanwhile, the Charger SRT used to be $50,000, and the Scat Pack was brought out at the same time as the 300 Core, and those were designed to be $5,000 or $6,000 less than the SRT model. And then after the SRT model came the Hellcat model, And when I got mine in 2016, it was only like $75,000 or $76,000. In fact, I think the cheapest you could have got it was like $70,000 or $69,000. So what they've essentially done is they've pushed the base price of this car all the way to $60,000. Now, supposedly they have these i6 models that are i6 cylinder, 500 like something horsepower, 510 horsepower, and I think there's a higher output model. But even those are going to be more expensive than what you would have paid how maybe 1 or 2 years ago. These new things are more expensive. But then on top of that comes the insurance premiums. Insurance in general has gone up across the nation. Some people are saying it's because of electric vehicles. Some people are saying it's because of car theft, especially in the case of these Dodge Chargers and Challengers. But the bottom line is the combined impact is higher insurance premiums. And there's no way around it. Because in order to drive one of these cars without getting pulled over and beaten up by the cops, you have to have insurance. So there's no way around it. But they're saying right here, it says Dodge has announced pricing for the electric Charger Daytona, which arrives for 2024 in the two-door form. So my question is, where's the four-door? How long do you have to wait for the four-door to come out? And from what I've seen, the four-door does not look as good as the two-door, because this car, what they've done is they've basically taken the 69 Charger and they've tried to turn that into a futuristic form. But the 69 Charger was a coupe. It only had two doors. For them to take that same body and to put four doors on it, these people are lazy. They're just telling you they don't give a shit. But that's these Europeans, these Dutch people. They don't care about American cars. They don't care about American ego. And now that they've taken over this company, they are going to dissolve Chrysler. And then after that, they're going to probably dissolve Dodge once it comes back that nobody wants to buy these cars at these prices. So anyway, it says the Charger Daytona RT will start at $61,590, almost $14,000 more than the 2023 gas-powered RT. The Charger Daytona Scat Pack will carry a $75,185 price, which is, again, that's what I paid for my 2016 Hellcat. Over $20,000 higher than a 2023 Scat Pack with a V8 engine. Just 2 days after Dodge showed off the new simulated exhaust note on the upcoming 2024 Charger Daytona EV, the American automaker has announced official pricing for the two-door electric sports car. The 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona RT will start at $61,500, which is nearly $14,000 more. So forth and so on. I already basically read that. So it says, Dodge says the 2024 Charger RT will come standard with the direct connection stage 1 upgrade, which boosts the maximum output to 496 horsepower and 404 pound-feet of torque. The old Charger RT's V8 engine produced 370 horsepower. Dodge also specified that the RT will ride on an 18-inch aluminum wheels. Obviously, 18 is way too small. Most people are going to want to swap these wheels immediately to 20s. The problem is that when you swap the wheels and make them larger, you get less range. I have 22s on my electric Cadillac, for example, and 22s give you less range than the 20s do. It's just basic physics. The wheel has to turn more because it's a larger wheel, so it's just basic physics. It says 245 by 55 R18 all-season tires and attached to a sports suspension, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then it says upgrading to the 2024 Charger Daytona Scat Pack sees the price rise to $75,185, a more than $20,000 hike versus an internal combustion engine 2023 Charger Scat Pack. Yet again, the electric Scat Pack boasts a high output. They're saying it's 670 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque. From what I can tell, because what I'm looking for is whether or not this one is all-wheel drive. I think that this is a single electric motor
And it says, wait, I don't see it say anything about all-wheel drive here. I think that this is a single electric motor, and that's the reason why it's so underpowered. Like they're saying 404 pound-feet of torque. That to me sounds like a single motor. And if it's a single motor, then it's not all-wheel drive, it's rear-wheel drive, most likely. This one says, I don't see it say anything about all-wheel drive either. But I'm pretty sure that this is a dual motor. So, dual motor making 670 horsepower, 627 pound-feet of torque. But what they don't mention right there is the fact that this thing's supposed to weigh like 5,800 pounds. It's supposed to weigh close to 6,000 pounds with the driver in it. So I don't see it say anything about all-wheel drive yet, but I'm pretty sure it'll come up. But it says, okay, the 2024 Charger Daytona Scat Pack will also arrive standard with the track package, which adds red Brembo 6-piston front and 4-piston rear brakes, a gloss black rear spoiler, and dual valve adaptive dampers. Scat Pack upgrades to a 20-inch aluminum wheels, 325 35R20. So you get 20s, and they have, they're not as big as the Hellcat tires typically are on those wide bodies, obviously. And the thing about it is a wide body electric is actually antithetical to the fact that you're trying to reduce wind resistance and you're trying to decrease the car's moment of inertia in order to get more range out of it. A lot of the features that people like on these current cars, you're not going to be able to get on these electric cars. The Hellcat hood scoops, for example, that's not on these electric cars simply because these cars don't have air intakes. The only thing they need to cool is the battery. They don't need to cool the engine, and they don't have cold air intakes or anything like that. So the bottom line is you don't need a hood scoop. What else? Let's see. It says inside the package brings leather and suede, 12-way power adjustable performance seats with 4-way lumbar, heated rear seats, and a data and video recording system. So I'm pretty sure these are the heated ventilated seats. These are similar to what you'd get in a current car if you're buying a Scat Pack or you're buying a Hellcat. Then it says Dodge will offer the Charger Daytona with an array of packages. The 4,995 Plus group adds goodies, including a 16-inch digital gauge cluster, powered rear hatch, a wireless charging pad. I don't care about wireless charging pads at all. I prefer using a USB-C wire to charge my phone. Not only that, but it connects directly to the computer. Wireless pads, I can never get my phone to stay in place because I'm always driving so fast and cornering so fast. It never stays in place. So no, I don't care about that. LED headlights. For $1,095, the RT models can gain a blacktop package, which darkens the wheels and exterior badging. A Sun and Sound add-on equips the car with a full glass roof and an 18-speaker Alpine sound system. So it's probably similar to what they have right now. I'm wondering how energy efficient that is, especially if they have a subwoofer in the trunk like they currently have, but we'll just have to wait and see. So there's a picture of the interior. I kind of don't like the fact that they've raised up the sides so that it's like the mirror and the window adjustments. I kind of like that flat, but I'm not buying it, so I guess it really doesn't matter. The Scat Pack can also be fitted with Goodyear Eagle F1 Supercar 3 summer tires. I'm pretty sure most people don't actually like those. They're saying that those are 305, 20 XL, 35 ZRs. Let's see. And that's $695, but they have them staggered, so it's $325 in the rear and $305s in the front. Okay, all 2024 Charger Daytonas will be offered with either an at-home level 2 charger or a $600 credit through free to move charge. Oh shit. So they just answered a question. Free to move. Where the hell is a free to move charge? Where is a free to move charger? In a minute, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the map, and let's take a look at the map and find out where free to move charging is. Because I ain't even heard of them. I thought it was going to be EVgo or Electrify America. I'm going to have to look them up. Okay, so it says production of the two-door 2024 Charger Daytonas will kick off this summer. You should have been doing this already. And the new models should reach dealerships by the fourth quarter. Dodge also notes that both the RT and the Scat Pack will qualify for the full $7,500 tax credit. So there's at least that. So you get whatever the total price of the car is on your taxes, you'll be able to claim the $7,500 tax credit. But you're only getting $600 of credit for charging. Unlike me, I got 2 years of free charging. So that's a huge difference. Four-door Charger Daytonas will start rolling off the line in the first half of next year. The gas-powered Charger six-pack models will begin production in the second half of 2025, with pricing for the six-cylinder Charger not likely to arrive until next year. I would assume that the six-cylinder Charger is going to be cheaper because it doesn't have all the EV battery technology and stuff in it. So then, as you can see, it says 807 horsepower Dodge Charger Banshee coming next year. You're going to get your asses kicked so bad by the Tesla Plaid, it's not even going to be funny. I'm sorry, this 807 plus, when you've got Tesla running 1,000 plus at 89,000, because a Tesla Plaid is starting at $89,000. Most people are walking out the door paying about close to $100,000. But the thing about it is, because those Tesla Plaids are relatively old cars, those Tesla galleries can give you discounts or find them cheaper so that you don't actually pay the whole $90,000. But the mere fact that you've got Tesla running that kind of power, you got Rimac out there damn near close to 2,000 horsepower, and then you've got, Lucid Sapphires eating up Bugattis. It's like Dodge could forget it. Because for them to build one of these cars that would be able to do what a Lucid Sapphire does or what a Tesla Plaid does, the price would be so much higher, it wouldn't even be funny. So, I guess they're screwed. Let's see what let's see a couple of comments. Let's see what they say. Best comments. It says, taken on its own in a vacuum, this is a cool car. But in the context of the market where the identity politics of Dodge's fan base are diametrically opposed to those of vocal EV proponents, I have a hard time seeing who is going to buy one. I assume this is the same reason I've seen exactly one EV Hummer in the wild since it was released. I think the problem with the EV Hummer is, number one, Hummers aren't really that cool anymore. When you had these gangster rappers buying Hummers and putting shark tanks and shit, like there was like 50 Cent who was doing that. When you got these gangster rappers constantly rapping about owning a Hummer and buying 30-inch wheels and putting freaking fish tanks and shit in them, I hate to say it was cool, but the problem was it was, I guess you could say, popular. I hate to even say that because when you really think back, I have a pretty long memory. I know some of y'all are Generation Z, and y'all don't go back that far, but the people actually bought spinning rims. Like when the car would stop at the light, the rims would keep spinning. And then you had these people who went deep into credit card debt to buy spinning rims on their car, and they would buy light kits, neon light kits like Fast and Furious. The bottom of their car looked like a gay pride parade. And then on top of that, they were putting fish tanks in the cars. And then they were putting monitors, because back then monitors were expensive. Now you could get like, a 32-inch monitor for $100. But they were putting monitors all over the freaking cars. It was monitors, lots of monitors, and they went deep into credit card debt for that shit. A lot of them never made it out. But, yeah, that's what it was like back in the the early 2000s. I know some of y'all may have been born in like 2007 or after, so you don't remember this. But, yeah, it was bad back. It was really bad back there. It was really bad. It's really, really bad. Let's see. Yet another EV replacement for an existing model comes in a way more expensive than the ICE version it replaces. $14,000 and $20,000 in this instance. So bigger, heavier, way more expensive EVs are considered progress, considered the future. By the way, by who? By who? It's considered progress by stupid liberal progressives, I suppose. But they've done a great job making the cost of oil and gas skyrocket. So because they have ruined the economy with stupid and in many cases racist measures against Cuba and Venezuela, they consider this a good thing, to get away from the $4.50 premium unleaded gas prices. So yeah, these people are stupid. That's just what it is. If I was president, I would open up trade with Venezuela. Yeah, I wouldn't be buying as much Saudi oil, but the bottom line is I'd be buying it from the Venezuelans a lot cheaper. I would drop the sanctions on Russia for oil. And basically, I would have to have my own assassination squad. I'd have to hire people to protect me, because if I were to do those things, you could bet that the Bilderberg Group or the Illuminati or whoever it is who tries to assassinate people, you could bet that they would do their best to assassinate me. But see, I would have a death squad, right? Like, you know how those African leaders, they have guys with the AK-47s, they're all gold plated and everything. I would tell everybody on my team, listen, if you see anybody try to make a move on me, I want you to kill them, and I'm going to pay you $10,000 per bullet that you put in this person. So that would give them a very good incentive to make sure I'm protected. But if you can bet, if I tried to open up trade with Venezuela, these powers that be, whoever these people are, Exxon, Chevron, whatever, they would do their best to try to assassinate me. Me personally, my death squad, you wouldn't even have handcuffs, because I'm not expecting you to arrest anybody, if you understand what I'm saying. So that's just how I would do it. But believe me, I would run on a platform as president of making gas less than $1 a gallon for premium unleaded. I would drop the sanctions on Russia. I don't care what's going on over there. I don't care about but he's the dictator. I don't care about none of that shit. So I dropped the sanctions. What was it? You remember the Nord Stream pipeline they don't talk about that America blew up? I would rebuild that. So this way, Germany could get gas and oil back and forth, no problem. And you can bet they would try to come after me, just like they tried to blow Trump's head off. Yeah, they'd come after me, but I would have a bulletproof suit, and I would have a kill squad. And whatever you try to get in there, like you're getting murdered that day. It's just that simple. You come after me, I'm not arresting you. No arrests. It's just that simple. So, what else? It says, my crystal ball is foggy, but I just don't see an EV muscle car being successful sales-wise. I don't see it winning over buyers of the old Challenger Charger. I don't see it winning over many new buyers. I know for a variety of reasons Stellantis couldn't continue the Hemi V8, but it seems like it's at least 5 to 10 years too soon. It's unfortunate since it looks like a cool car and I like the styling. I guess we'll have to see. It is progress, and if that price is beyond anyone's budget, you have the 6-cylinder option. The 2023 Scat Pack is just over $48,000. Now, that's interesting that this person says that, because we don't have official pricing, so I don't know where you pulled those numbers out of. It says this EV RT after the tax rebate is approximately $54,000. Depending on your state, you would receive an additional, rebate. It's not for everyone, but I think it's a pretty cool car. Rebate doesn't kick in until Stellantis Kokomo battery factory comes online in 2025. Till then, the Korean batteries mean that this gets nada from the feds, as it should be. Okay, well, that's about it. It's like, I don't have to belabor this point. I personally think that initial buyers are going to be, the same people who run out and buy cars as soon as they come out so that they can get on YouTube and buy them. Those are going to be your initial buyers. I'm pretty sure that most of the initial reviews of these cars are going to be done by the same people who do electric vehicle reviews. Like, you have out-of-spec reviews, you have EV Pulse. if you've noticed, the majority of these car reviewers, they're reviewing electric cars now. Car Wow over in Britain. You remember how it used to be all about Top Gear? Yeah, well, Top Gear has subsided. Now you've got Car Wow. So you got this guy from Car Wow. And then you've got most of these other guys. It's like everybody's doing electric vehicle reviews, basically. Because that's the only new product that they really have coming out. The only gas new products that they have coming out is stuff that you can't possibly afford. Like a Lamborghini or Vuelto. You can't afford that. The average person can't afford that. Like, yeah, there's the top 1% that can go out and spend $700,000 on one of these cars. But most of you can't afford that. You can't even hope to afford that. Then there's like the Rolls-Royce Spectre. That thing's $800,000 and it gets less range than my Cadillac does. But again, you know what's funny? What I've noticed, everybody talks a lot of smack about the electric cars that they can afford. But they don't talk anything bad about the electric cars they can't possibly afford. So that Rolls-Royce Spectre, oh, wow, it's beautiful, it's pretty, it's elegant, blah, 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 blah. You didn't see all these anti-EV haters. Oh, yeah, well, that's stupid. And there's children in Gambia who have to mine lithium and all that bullshit. You don't see those comments because most of them stay away from those videos because they know that they can't even hope to afford something like that. They can't even pray for it. Like God would literally have to send them a Mega Millions lottery ticket and they would never be able to afford that shit. So they don't, you don't see those negative comments on the stuff that they can't afford. You only see it on the stuff that they could possibly afford. I've noticed that. It's just like that Rimac Navara. When you look at the Rimac comments, you don't see too many people talking bad about it because that Rimac Navara will eat your ass. It's just like the Lucid Sapphire. All these, those EVs are ugly. I don't want that. It's ugly. Meanwhile, that, that Lucid Sapphire, where you got that shit eating up Bugattis, and the Bugatti Chiron can't beat it, you don't see too many negative comments on that. Like, they'd be like, man, yeah, if I could get one, I'd want a Lucid Sapphire if I could get an EV. If I could get an EV, I'd get a Rimac Navara. It's just sad. It's just really, really sad. But that's about it. I mean, there's no new information yet. And I don't foresee there being... As soon as my dealership, what are they called? Security. As soon as they get the electric charger in, God knows when that's going to be, I'm going to go over there and see it and drive it if it's drivable. Because when they first get them in, they may not be drivable. I think Stellantis really needs to make sure that they have, how should I say, production versions of these cars in these dealerships for people to see. I think that might help to get people interested in them. You really need to have these things test drivable. Even if it's the base model, as long as it has like all-wheel drive, they need to have these things test drivable. And they need to have these things, they need to be able to show them off. It is very late in the game. Everybody has fielded their electric vehicles. Meanwhile, Stellantis, they still haven't gotten that Wagoneer S into these dealerships yet. They still haven't gotten the charge. This thing was supposed to be out a long time ago. And they're just, I don't know what they're doing. But I do understand they're probably having problems with programming. They're probably having problems with this thing killing its own battery when it does updates over the air. They're probably having issues with that. GM had an issue with that. And what GM did was they said, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to do updates over the air. What we'll do is we'll bring the cars in for service. And that's when we'll do the software updates. Tesla had issues with software updates over the air bricking the cars. Tesla's software engineers were able to fix it. And it took a little while, but Tesla has been ahead of the game on everything. They were ahead of the game in designing 800-volt architecture, 48-volt architecture. They're ahead of the game, pretty much with whatever they do. They're a software company and an energy storage company that makes cars. So for the most part, they've been ahead of the game on this. The rest of these manufacturers are playing catch-up. So we'll just have to wait and see. So if you're watching this video, chances are this is a car that, for whatever reason, you may be interested in. You may be interested in it, but you may not be able to afford it just yet. Maybe you're saving your money. I don't know. But I'm going to withhold final judgment until I actually drive the thing. I personally don't think that these things are going to be worth Cadillac money. I really don't. They may impress me. They may change my mind. I saw it at the New York International Auto Show in the non-production form. There were some aspects of it that I thought were cool. Like the glass roof, I thought was pretty cool because you get to see more of the inside of the car than you normally could see. I did think that the front dashboard was pretty cool. If you've seen it in person, you know what I'm talking about. I thought the wheels look ridiculous and ugly. I'm pretty sure most people who do try to buy one of these things, they're going to swap the wheels immediately. But the long story short is the Hemi V8 is dead. It's not coming back. Federal emissions regulations, not only in America, but in Europe, are going to make sure that these things don't come back. That Hemi V8 technology was obsolete in the first place. Nobody was building an iron block engine and putting a supercharger on it. Nobody. Audi had supercharged engines, but they had like small displacement aluminum engines. Jaguar had a supercharger on its Super Sport Jaguar XJL. But they had an aluminum engine, and it was smaller displacement. It only had like 550 horsepower. Dodge was the only company putting out 797 horsepower freaking V8 engines. And the people who were buying this stuff, back then, gas was cheaper. Because, you got to understand, gas is $4.50 here right now. I think that's crazy. I thought gas was high back when it hit $4. And I was in Pennsylvania and I had to fill up. That shit cost me over $100 to put that in my Jeep. I thought it was high then. And then with Biden and the Ukraine and Russia, you had gas prices go up to like $6 and $7 and $9 in California. Like, that's just insane. It's madness. And the question that you have to ask is, when we have shitty politics, because a lot of you idiots are about to try to vote for Kamala, and y'all are voting for these Democrats. She already told you what the agenda is. She already told you it's that green agenda bullshit. Now, if it was up to me, I'd send her right back to a 7-Eleven. And I'd send her right back to a 7-Eleven and she'd be working there with Willie Brown. But some of y'all, Trump is bad and he said bad things, so I'm going to vote against him. Well, listen, you can vote for whoever you want, but when you're suffering from gas prices, you can't heat your house because the oil prices are high, the gas prices are high, that's your fault. If you freeze to death, I'm going to blame you. And that's it. But that's just what it is. I have to be very candid because I don't want there to be any misunderstanding. It's like, that's it. We're living in some very obscene times right now, and you're voting left and leftist Democrats. It's not helping. It's really not helping. But I'm just saying, if I was president, I'd open up Venezuela, Cuba, and I'd drop the sanctions on Russia, and we'd be getting cheap gas. Because right now, you got to understand, the Venezuelan girls, they got to sell themselves just for a ham sandwich because they're starving down there. That's why they keep coming up here. That's why they're making those migrant treks, and they're coming up here. We crippled their ability to sell their oil, and it destroyed their economy. When Chavez was in there, they were doing a lot better than they're doing now, and that's just a fact. But Chavez came up here. He called George Bush the devil. He was in the United Nations. He was like, yeah, I stood here after George Bush, and I could still smell the sulfur and brimstone. Right after that, Chavez died mysteriously, and then after that, the whole Venezuelan economy just went under. It's like, come on, man. You already know what that is. But bottom line is, that's what happened, and there's only one way to come back. You got to open up trade. Free trade, that stuff that the Republicans and Democrats claim that we're supposed to be, about free trade, laissez-faire. Whatever happened to that? That stuff they taught us in high school that you weren't paying attention to because you were too busy on your fucking cell phone watching TikTok? You remember that? But it is what it is. I'm very disgusted. I'm very disgusted with this government. I'm very disgusted with the average voter. And, all I can do is come up with solutions. But, you're the ones who have to vote. This is what you're voting on. It's like, do you want a future of electric cars that your ass can't afford? You're going to be on a bus? Or do you want, cheaper fuel and the ability to actually afford stuff? It's like, it's up to you.
To be continued.